My name is Emma Johnston-Leon, and this is Lights, Camera, Leadership. Los Angeles doesn't just consume culture, it creates it. This town is known for its bright lights and even brighter stars, some of whom can be found right here in the human resources community. Every day, Leaderology partners with committed HR leaders who are just as innovative as the companies they work for. As a new member of the Leaderology team, I'm on a journey to learn from some of the best and brightest in HR. Today, I'm heading to Glendale to meet with Mario Portugal, the Chief Human Resources Officer at Beyond Limits. I can't wait to see the space where brilliant minds come together to make mind-blowing things happen in outer space. But first, Portos.
How are you? I'm sorry, I just stepped on you.
That's all right. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I guess since I'm vaccinated, we'll do no masks.
Yeah, you made it.
Good to see you. Yes.
Yeah? How was the drive?
It was good.
Yeah.
No traffic, actually.
Oh,
One
awesome.
of the benefits of pandemic, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely, especially here in LA. That rarely happens.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for meeting me here.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me about Portos.
Yeah, so Portos is one of our favorite bakeries. So we always get it catered in the office. People love it. Usually, pre-COVID, there's always a line outside. So getting a table here is usually very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But it's one of our favorite spots. This is actually a great location because here on Brand Boulevard, there's just so many different places that you can eat. And we try to feature that as well when we bring on new hires and we tell people, this is a great place to be. You come to work and you can try different food. So
yeah.
It's a really cool spot. So you've got to try something from here because it's amazing. Do you want to eat something?
Good morning.
Yes, hi.
Portos Bakery.
Thank
What can
you.
I get for you today?
Thank you.
I would love an herbal tea, and can I get some of the cheese danishes or cheese rolls?
rolls?
Yeah,
Yeah,
our
of course.
CEO raves about them.
I'm good with coffee, but thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be right
Thank
back,
you.
okay, guys?
Appreciate it.
So yeah, so I heard that you have a new space that we're going to get a little exclusive look today. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so we outfitted our space back in 2018, and we completely revamped one of the suites in our building, and within the first year, completely outgrew it. So that's how quickly we grew.
Wow, that's
and so we
amazing.
had to acquire new space, and so we did that, and then we've gutted it and completely renovated it. Now the crazy part was we were supposed to open in April of 2020, and COVID happened. So none of us got to actually move into the space. So you guys are actually gonna get to see the space before our own employees have seen the space. So it's gonna be great. I'm so excited to show it to you guys. It definitely showcases, I think, the innovation that is required in the work that we do. So when you see the space, you're gonna feel that and experience that as you walk in.
Yeah, that's amazing, and I'm super excited. I feel really special to get to see it.
Awesome, well I can't wait to show it to you.
Awesome, let's do it. I'm curious about your story, and I know a little bit, and I'd love to hear some more. But I know you're a first-generation student, so I'd love to hear more about that experience and what that meant to you.
Yeah, I mean, being able to go to college was incredible. My parents dropped out of high school at a very young age, and so they didn't even graduate high school. So when I graduated high school, that was in and of itself a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
And no one in my family at that time had ever gone to college. So talking about college wasn't even a thing.
As you think back on your career and your path or your education to get to your career, do you have any people that really stood out as, major change makers in your life?
Absolutely, and there were a number of folks. And funny enough, I ended up going to the University of Southern California fight on.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew you were a Trojan.
Very proud Trojan. But, when I was working and I started working, I realized really quickly that the only way I was going to advance was really by getting a college degree. So I ended up enrolling in community college. And at the time I was in San Diego, so I was going to go to San Diego State because that's what everybody did. Yeah. And I won't forget, there was a college counselor that I went to go see, and usually you go check in and you show them your transcripts, right? Make sure that you're on track. And she started looking at my activities and everything that I was involved in my GPA, and she's
like, wait a minute.
Yeah, she was like, why are you going to San Diego State? And again, not that San Diego State is a great school.
Great school, yeah.
But she said, there's a lot of opportunities out there, and it wasn't anything that I had anyone in my life to tell me, hey, why don't you think about these things? Right. So whether she knew it or not, she made a huge impact in my life because she started encouraging me to look at other schools. I wanted to stay in California because this is where my family is.
And of course.
And I'm very close to my family, especially my mom. So I didn't want to go far. So I started looking at, some of the universities, and USC was one of them. So I applied to USC. I applied to UCLA as well, did get in. But I ended up choosing USC because it just, when I went, I just felt that it fit me and who I am and my background.
We talked a little bit about your speech coach and how, impactful that was for you. Were you aware of that at the time?
You know what? I wasn't. I think at the time, I didn't even know if I really knew what a mentor could be, that term. He played such a significant role in my life and in my journey. And when you think about the way things work, and, I shared also about the counselor, right? One of the things she pointed out was the fact that I was in speech and debate, which would have never happened had it not been the coach or the professor that I had taken the semester prior to that, really encouraging me and pushing me to join that. So I think there were a number of people in my life that, had the faith and the belief in me, and, they helped me get to where I am. And I think, looking back in the moment, didn't realize that was taking place, but I think it was informally.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, there's one thing for people to open those doors for you, and then it's another for you to actually be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this chance. I'm going to walk through this door and see what happens. So
definitely.
I think, both are important.
Well, it might surprise you that it's only a quarter scale size of the actual Rover that's on Mars. Wow. The actual Rover is actually about the size of a Mini Cooper. So that's awesome. How big the actual Rover is. And it is a full replica, so every little detail about the Rover has been captured in this replica. And so there's a lot of great details. The wheels themselves, they have little holes. That's actually Morse code. So what JPL did was they wanted JPL imprinted on the surface of Mars. So originally they had the JPL letters on the wheels. And then NASA came back and said, no guys, you can't do this. So what they did was they actually put it in there in Morse code. So actually JPL is on the surface of Mars.
I like that creative
That's
way
pretty
around,
awesome.
Making it happen.
Definitely. Right?
Oh my gosh, I want the remote control. So I've heard this theme of doors being opened for you, and I'm curious how you've been able to pay that forward.
Yeah, that's it's a great thing to think about, and I think there's both intentional and unintentional, right, in doing that. I think intentionally, right, when I think about the type of programs that I've been able to be a part of and implement, and I've been at some great organizations that had some phenomenal leadership, and and having support is really important. But I think being able to create opportunities, right, but not just create opportunities, making those opportunities available for folks that might not necessarily have those opportunities put in front of them. How do we create diversity within an organization? It starts really fundamentally in recruitment, right? If we're not bringing diverse people in, we're never going to have diversity within an organization. And so then you think about backing it up just a step. Well, where do you get diverse folks from, right? Because a lot of times some of those folks may not have access to the same type of education, the same type of opportunities. So I think it's about being cognizant when you're creating programs and when you're leading certain initiatives of making sure that they're inclusive, right? That it is not targeting one specific person, but that you're trying to keep an open door and an open mind for those that may not have the normal path. I didn't have a normal path. I didn't go straight from college out of high school. And not everybody does, and that's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. It adds to the story. I've been very fortunate to have leaders at most of my roles that have been very supportive of these types of initiatives. And I think that's critical to be successful.
As the CHRO for a high growth startup like Beyond Limits, having the leadership support is really important. How was that journey in gaining that support?
It's hard. You know, you have to show up. You know, you have to earn your seat at the table and prove why HR is important. And I think, you know, as I think about the growth at Beyond Limits, I think it's, you know, using data, using facts, and coming in and being able to implement different things and seeing the growth, seeing people respond well, getting feedback, and being agile to be able to adapt to the feedback. Our CEO, AJ Abdallah, is incredible in supporting what the initiatives are for our people. He cares about our people. He cares about them a lot, actually. and it is a good thing because you can actually see that come forward when I sit down with him and, you know, I talk with him. I'm like, AJ, here are some things that we're hearing. Here's what our people are saying. And he's like, okay, what do we do to fix it? You know, how do we make those changes? What do you need from me in order to make sure that we can change these things? And he supports us 100%. And really that has been a pillar, I think, in our HR team, really allowing us to execute at the level that we have.
It's almost poetic that Mario ended up at Beyond Limits. His whole story has been to push himself, to go beyond his own limits. Whether it's to complete 500 SoulCycle rides, be the first in his family to graduate high school, or participate in the national speech and debate competition, Mario knows how to push himself outside his comfort zone. Yet he's the first to say he didn't do it alone. Sometimes it takes a mentor, a leader, a speech coach, to open the door and show you a glimpse into the future of possibilities. He reminded me it takes guts to walk through that doorway and write the next chapter. And when I do walk through, I'll be like Mario. I'll leave the door open so others can follow.